everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Home is where our heart is. My name is Dane.
And I'm Stelly, and we're the proud authors of the series of books, Knowledge to Forage.
I hope you're having a beautiful day wherever you are in the world, and thank you all for joining us here today on this gorgeous summer's morning.
Where we are blessed to be wading our way through these beautiful waterways. And today we are looking at this beautiful pink plant, the Himalayan balsam, that's slowly turning our riversides pink.
So here we are this week at the Camp Wo Wo site, a beautiful campsite near the South Downs that has wonderful woodlands, it's rich in wildlife and has many fantastic places to stay, such as shepherd's huts and yurts or good old-fashioned tents, if that's what you're into. But Camp Wo Wo has a problem because its waterways, its streams have become completely overrun by this invasive wildflower, Himalayan balsam. But what exactly is the problem with this flower? After all, it's just a giant pink flower, isn't it?
Well, yes, it is actually one of the UK's largest annual flowers, the pink Himalayan balsam. It's taller than me in here. Look at this. Wowzers. And as its name suggests, Himalayan balsam does come all the way from the Himalayas. It's travelled so far. This beautiful bright pink flower has travelled all the way from the Himalayas right here to the British countryside. Now, how did it get here, I wonder?
Well, interestingly enough, this can be traced back to one man, John Forbes Royal, a Victorian botanist who was over in India when he came across the Himalayan balsam, where he absolutely fell in love with the flower. John sent some seeds home where they became popular amongst gardeners because the flowers are intricately beautiful and the flower grows tall, bold and proud. And what was fascinating to the Victorians was the flowers have a unique feature. The seed pods, when formed, explode, and this not only made the Victorians entertained by this natural wonder, it also helped the Himalayan balsam escape the gardens out into the British countryside.
You see, Himalayan balsam spreads its seed through a method called ballistic seed dispersal. As the seed pods ripen, pressure builds inside until pop! They burst open, firing seeds several metres away in every single direction. One plant can produce hundreds of seeds, making it very easy for this wildflower to spread out across the land.
But it's not just the Himalayan balsam's exploding seeds which makes it such a good traveller. You see, this plant loves to grow along riverbanks in the damp. And what happens is the plant establishes alongside waterways, streams and rivers. And when the seeds explode, they fall in the water and drift away downstream, meaning they travel not just for meters, but for miles and completely overrun our riverbanks. These are the type of things we get up to at 5 o'clock in the morning. Whoa. Whoa.
So why exactly is Himalayan balsam such a problem? Well, just look at it. This is 1 year of growth. In 1 year, it's grown this tall. That is incredible. It is such an incredible plant. And the thing about it growing so tall is it actually ends up shading out everything down on the ground. So unfortunately, all of our native wildflowers, they can't grow. They just don't get the sunlight. And this guy just grows and grows and grows.
And secondly, the issue comes from a place you might not expect. It's actually the plant's roots. You see, Himalayan balsam, unlike our native plants, has very shallow roots. You can see this for yourself by simply grabbing the plant by its base and giving it a little tug. You see the entire plant comes out the ground. This is terrible for our riverbanks because our native plants, which have deep, strong, sturdy roots made to endure the harsh, long grey winters here in the UK, they actually hold our banks together. Whereas the Himalayan balsam, it doesn't support the earth at all. So then, once they outcompete all the native plants, all these shallow roots create a serious problem. Do you know why? Because this plant, although glorious now in all its tall glory, actually dies back for winter, meaning that the riverbanks are left completely bare. This then means the water flows through and washes the soil away. Soil erosion, which is no good for our rivers because then they collapse and change shape, and this completely changes the natural habitat that a lot of our wildlife need to thrive.
This soil erosion has damaged this riverway here to the point where it's now just a dry riverbank. It's widened so much because of the soil erosion on each side that the stream has just evaporated away. Healthy rivers are homes to an astonishing amount of wildlife. Dragonflies patrol the water. Kingfishers, one of my favourites, hunt from overhanging branches. Fish they shelter beneath the shaded banks. Amphibians and countless other creatures all depend on healthy waterways. So protecting our native riverside plants doesn't just protect the plants themselves, it protects the wildlife that calls them home.
When it comes between our healthy riverways and the Himalayan balsam flower, we're sorry, Mr. Balsam, but you've just got to go. So to remove the plant, fortunately for us, is super simple. Because it has a shallow root, all you do is reach down to the base and pull it out from the ground. You see how easy that was? Now the plant has been removed.
The key to stop the spread of Himalayan balsam is to get rid of these plants before the seed pods mature and explode. Across Britain, thousands of volunteers are coming together with the wildlife and the riverside trusts every year to get together in what's becoming known as Balsam Bashing Days. Ooh! So it's amazing. You can find out with your local wildlife charities how you can help save your rivers and waterways from these invaders. Hello you! I mean, they are amazing. Look at that! Look at that bee! I mean, I'm sorry, you're just in the wrong place, Mr. Balsam. You've got to go. We can't have you here.
Now, before you head off to join the great battle of balsam, we have to learn how to identify the Himalayan balsam plant first to make sure we don't grab hold of any plant that can harm us. But luckily for us, to identify this giant wildflower is super simple. It has long green stems which kind of fade to a yellowish red. Its flowers, of course, are a unique bonnet-like shape, earning them nicknames such as policeman's cap. Its leaves are long green and lance-shaped with serrated edges, and these leaves are very fragile and tear with ease. Now, is there anything you could mistake the Himalayan balsam for? Well, not really, because of its very unique flowers. At a push, you could mistake them for a rosebay willow herb, also known as fireweed, or perhaps a foxglove. But when you look at the flowers and compare them to each other, you can see that the Himalayan balsam's flowers are very uniquely different. Now, there are two plants out there that they don't really look like Himalayan balsam, but you want to make sure you don't grab them, which is the common hogweed or the giant hogweed. These plants have sap that can burn your skin. Now you might be interested to know, since we're removing all these plants, that they actually have many uses. You see, the entire Himalayan balsam plant is actually edible. You can eat its fresh young shoots and leaves, add them to soups and stews, or pickle the young stems. And when you come all the way up here to these flowers, these beautiful bright pink flowers are edible. You can add them to salads, decorate cakes with them, or even infuse them into a tea or a bright pink cordial. And the most sought after part of the edibility part of this plant is these seed pods, because they contain tiny little seeds. And when you eat them, they taste kind of like nuts. So there we have it, people.
There we have it, the beautiful Himalayan
The
balsam.
Himalayan balsam, the invasive wildflower. That's a gift to our earth, but just not to this specific piece to earth.
Yes, just not specifically in the
This
UK.
part, yes. A beautiful flower.
Beautiful flower with beautiful, beautiful things. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed watching this video, everybody. I hope you've got something useful from it. And
We've
yeah,
had a beautiful morning, haven't we? We woke up with the sunrise.
We did.
Had
It was
frolic
such
through
a
the
treat.
countrysides.
Even saw a deer.
Saw a deer,
Saw
saw
a deer.
plenty of bees, butterflies and bugs, all sorts of
It's
critters.
been a lovely morning, a fresh morning. We're in the middle of a heat wave at the moment, and we're here at Camp Wowo, and we have been playing in the streams all week long. The kids have been splashing around under the trees. I've had my camping chair in there, my iced coffee. It's just been
iced
so
coffees
glorious.
in the streams. Big
It's
shout
been-
out to Camp Wowo.
Yeah, thanks
Make
for
sure
having us.
to check it out over here down near the South Downs. And it's got plenty of places for you to stay. You could stay in a tent, of course, if that's your cup of tea. But they also have plenty of luxury glamping, such as yurts, shepherd's huts, gypsy wagons, all the things that we like to stay in.
Yeah, so the glamping is on point here at Camp Wowo. We're currently staying in the woodland yurt, and it is absolutely beautiful. It's fresh, it's cool, it's great fun. They've got a little shop, so the kids get to have their little bit of independence, walk up to the little shop and get their little
So thanks, Wowo,
crisps and
for
sweets and stuff.
sponsoring this video. If you want to own knowledge all about wild plants just like this, check out our awesome series of books, Knowledge to Forage.
And if you want to sponsor our videos and help us make these videos, then head over to Ko-fi, our follow along foragings, our monthly educational resource packs, and so this month is all about pink wildflowers and Himalayan balsams in there.
Yeah, they're a great educational resource. It's fun, colourful, engaging, and I genuinely love them. I think they're awesome. I wish I grew up with such worksheets.
I make them.
Stella makes them, and they're glorious, and they're everything that I think that should be in a nature-inspired education.
Yeah, and the kids use them. So,
Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video, because it really helps our channel to grow. But most importantly of all, take care of yourselves, and we'll see you all next time.